Welcome, everyone, to this evening's Fall 2021 information session about workforce programs at the College of Staten Island. My name is Lisa Spagnola, and I'm the Director of Workforce Development, and I'll be facilitating the first segment of this evening's session. And I have to just take a pause and say, I am so excited to see that people are still joining our session. I hope we get to 100 people this evening. Tonight, I'm going to provide you an overview of the Office of Workforce Development, explain how our classes are run, and then provide you some information about 8 classes that will be launching this fall. My part of the information session should take 30 minutes or less. As I review program information, I encourage you to write down the names of the programs that you'd like to learn more about. Because after I review all 8 programs, you'll have an opportunity to meet with the instructors who teach those programs that you'd like to learn more about. That can be meeting with just one instructor or all 8 of them, and you'll have up to 90 minutes to visit with as many instructors as you like and ask them your individual questions about the programs that they teach and the jobs related to each program. So first, let's talk about some things that all workforce programs at CSI have in common. All of our programs are relatively short, are affordable, and provide industry credentials needed in order to be hired for and to perform certain jobs. Industry credentials are a way for candidates to show employers that they're qualified to be hired. So many of our programs also prepare students to sit for the related credentialing exams. Workforce class sizes are relatively small, with as little as 4 to as many as 30 students in a class. The students in your classroom will be diverse in many ways. Education-wise, some of your classmates will have a GED or high school diploma. Others may have completed a few college classes. Some may even possess full college degrees. Some of your classmates will be starting out in their first career. Others will be career changers. The men and women in your programs will be of all ages, from their 20s to their 60s, but you'll all have one goal in common. And that goal is to find related employment to the training programs that you're participating in. It's also important to note that workforce training programs do not provide college credit. This means that you cannot use federal or state aid to pay your tuition, and our tuition must be paid in full before the program start date. There are some resources available to potential students to help offset the cost of tuition. To learn more about the different ways that you can pay for your training programs, I recommend visiting the registration and enrollment breakout room later tonight. It's also important to note that all of our classes this fall will be offered either virtually or in a hybrid model. So what does that mean? Virtual classes are conducted using Zoom, which is the same technology that you're using to connect to this meeting right now. It makes sense to offer some classes virtually, especially when the related credential doesn't require students to perform any in-class clinicals, and when we've assessed that the virtual learning experience is just as valuable to students as the in-person learning experience would be. If you register for a virtual program, you are required to attend all of your virtual classes, just like you would be expected to attend your classes if you were physically going to the CSI campus, except you're just attending from your own space instead of the classroom. Your instructor will be present for all of your virtual classes and expects you to be present as well. Some of our programs, on the other hand, are held using a hybrid model. This means that students will complete most of their classes virtually, but are required to come in for in-person learning for a set number of sessions. As I review each program, I'll let you know if it's a virtual or a hybrid program, as that may influence your choice. Now let's take a look at the 8 programs that we're highlighting this fall. For each program, I'm going to show you 2 slides. The first slide is going to give you a brief overview of what the job is that the program prepares you for. The second slide includes some important things to consider when thinking about whether you want to enroll in that particular program. Let's start with clinical medical assistant as an example. So CMAs typically work in medical offices, urgent cares, and hospitals. These are the individuals that see you before your doctor. In some environments, they'll take and record your vital signs. Sometimes they'll prepare you for your exam. In other offices, they may even be expected to draw your blood or take your EKG. And sometimes CMAs are also expected to perform administrative work in their offices, like scheduling appointments, making referrals, billing, and coding. So when you think about whether you'd like to enroll in our CMA program, first, think about whether you'd be happy operating in this job. Do you enjoy working in a fast-paced environment? Do you enjoy being active when you're at work, meaning that you're probably moving from place to place instead of sitting sedentary in one spot? How do you feel about providing direct care to patients who are probably sick? Do you enjoy a job where you have a variety of roles and responsibilities and may be asked to do different tasks on a given day? Also, consider the salary. On average, full-time CMAs earn about $40,000 a year. You might also want to think about our program commitment. Our program meets 3 evenings a week for over 4 months. Our delivery can be either hybrid or virtual. There are 44 sessions that are definitely delivered virtually for everyone attending. And then there are 5 skills labs. For individuals who don't want to come to campus for in-person learning, it isn't required. We can do these skills labs using a virtual simulation. But for those who would like to come and complete those skills labs in person, you can come to our campus at Victory Boulevard or at our Brooklyn satellite. There is a 1-day in-person CPR workshop that we prefer all of our graduating CMAs to participate in. That is only offered in person. So anytime a student comes to campus, they must demonstrate proof of their COVID vaccination. So think about that as well when you decide whether you'd like to learn more about our CMA program. Finally, the tuition for this program is about $3,400. Another important piece of information to decide if you'd like to learn more about it. Take a moment now to jot down whether you'd like to visit with our Deb, our CMA instructor, later on this evening. Now let's take a look at another wonderful program called Certified Professional Coder, or CPC. This program prepares individuals to code, bill, and enter patient medical services into electronic health records. CPCs also process insurance claims and account transactions. They analyze and categorize diagnoses and procedures using information from patient medical records. And they most often work in hospitals, long-term care facilities, doctors' offices, and more. Think about whether the CPC program is right for you. Do you enjoy working with computers? Would you prefer a position where you're working at a desk every day? Would you like working in the healthcare industry? Full-time CPCs typically earn about $54,000 a year. CSI's CPC program meets 2 evenings a week for over 9 months, and it's completely virtual. However, the CPC credentialing exam is an in-person exam, and you'd have to come to campus in order to take it as part of your cohort, which means even though you're attending a virtual class, you'd have to show proof of your COVID vaccination in order to come to campus to take the exam. The CPC tuition is just over $3,000, and that's really important to know as well. Take a moment now to write down whether you'd like to visit with Mushan, our CPC instructor, later on. And now let's look at our EKG Tech program. EKG techs monitor electrocardiograms. They operate EKG equipment and they run leads tests on patients for their heart rates and blood pressure. They're also responsible for reviewing the image and test results and often analyze diagnostic information to provide a summary of their findings for physicians. They often work in hospitals, medical offices, and urgent care settings. Consider the following when thinking about whether you'd like to enroll in the EKG program at CSI. Do you enjoy working with technology and equipment? Would you enjoy providing direct care to patients who might be sick? Do you enjoy working in a fast-paced environment? And are you comfortable working in a physically engaging role? Full-time EKG techs typically earn about $41,000 a year. CSI's EKG program meets 2 times a week for about 3 months. Most of the program is delivered virtually, but there are 5 in-person skills labs that are available to take only at the CSI campus. There's also an in-person CPR workshop. So remember, you need to be able to provide proof of your COVID vaccinations in order to attend the skills labs and the workshop. Tuition for the EKG program is about $1,600. Before moving on, jot down whether you'd like to learn more about the EKG role later on this evening. Now let's take a look at our dental assistant role. Dental assistants perform a variety of patient care, office, and laboratory duties. They can be asked to take dental x-rays, prepare patients for treatment, obtain dental and medical records. They may even schedule dental appointments, and they most often work in dental offices or hospital dental clinics. When considering whether the dental program is right for you, think about whether you enjoy providing direct patient care and whether you enjoy being responsible for a variety of different functions in one job. Typically, full-time dental assistants earn about $40,000. CSI's dental assistant program meets 2 times a week for about 4 months. Like many of our other programs, most of the sessions are virtual, but based on class size, there will be about 2 to 4 in-person sessions at a clinical site on Staten Island. There's also an in-person CPR workshop that we'd like you to attend. Tuition for the dental assistant program is about $2,900. Take a moment to jot down whether you'd like to speak with Dr. Jan later on this evening. Pharmacy technician. Pharmacy techs are those individuals who work in pharmacies and are most often customers' first point of contact. They receive written prescriptions, verify patient information, can prepare bulk medications, and often assist customers in person and on the phone with their pharmacy and perhaps even other store inquiries. Most often, farm techs work at retail pharmacies. When considering whether you'd like to enroll into CSI's Farm Tech program, think about whether you like working with detailed information, whether you like working in customer service, if you enjoy working in a fast-paced environment, and whether you like to be relatively active in your role. Full-time farm techs typically earn about $38,000 a year. CSI's Farm Tech program meets once a week for about 3 months. It is 100% virtual, except for the recommended CPR workshop that's valuable for all farm techs to have. The tuition for the Farm Tech program is about $1,400. Jot down now whether you'd like to talk to Carlos, our Farm Tech instructor, later on this evening. So the next two programs that I'd like to talk to you about veer slightly from healthcare and move into social services. The first is the Credentialed Alcohol and Substance Abuse Counselor, or CASAC. CASACs provide direct care to individuals living with substance use and other behavioral health disorders. They often work in intervention and prevention programs. They can work in medical detox units, inpatient or outpatient programs, or even in hospitals. When considering whether to enroll in CSI's CASAC program, think about whether you enjoy working directly with clients, and if you enjoy helping others making changes in their lives towards recovery and wellness. You'll predominantly be working with individuals living with substance use disorder, so that's something else to think about when considering whether you'd like to enroll. CASACs typically earn $37,000 to $45,000, and CSI's CASAC program is divided into 8 individual classes. Each class costs $500 each, and if you enroll in 2 or 3 classes a semester, you can achieve your CASAC certification in 12 months. The CASAC program is delivered 100% virtually. Take a moment now to write down if you'd like to speak with Mike, our CASAC instructor, following my presentation. Another program that supports individuals living with substance use disorder is CSI's CRPA program. Peers, or CRPAs, possess their own lived experience with substance use disorder, meaning that they have been impacted in some way by substance use in their lives. Like CASAC, CRPAs provide support to individuals living with substance use disorder, but do so in a non-clinical way. While CRPAs can work in hospitals or police precincts, it's most likely that you would be working at a community-based organization. So when thinking about whether you'd like to learn about CSI's CRPA program, think again about whether you have a passion for supporting individuals living with substance use disorder. CRPAs typically earn $29,000. CSI's CRPA program meets 3 times a week for about 2 months, and the program is also 100% virtual. The tuition for the CRPA program is free. The college has received a grant in order to make this possible from a funder. But just because the tuition is free doesn't mean that everyone interested in the program is accepted. Seats are determined and acceptances are determined based on your intake during the your performance in the intake process. I'll be facilitating the CRPA breakout room, and I can tell you more about what that intake process looks like. So jot down now if you'd like to learn more about this program. Our last program provides individuals entering any workforce with Microsoft Office computer skills. It's called the Certified Administrative Assistant Program, and in it, participants learn how to create and edit documents in Word, how to create spreadsheets in Excel, how to design PowerPoint presentations, how to draft email messages, and how to manage calendars. When thinking about whether you'd like to enroll into the Admin Assistant program, think about whether you need to sharpen your Microsoft Office skills for your current role or a role that you're interested in attaining. The admin program meets 2 times a week for over 3 months, and it's 100% virtual. The tuition for this program is slightly over $1,000. Take a moment now to write down whether you'd like to learn more about our admin assistant program by speaking with Nancy later on this evening. Okay, so those are our 8 programs, and hopefully by this time, you've compiled a list of programs that you'd like to learn more about. So at this point, we're going to open 9 breakout rooms, 1 for each of the programs I talked about, and 1 hosted by our colleague Jean, who'll talk about how to enroll and register, as well as ways to pay for tuition for our programs. So let's talk a moment about how you can move throughout the breakout rooms, because as I said earlier, you can choose to learn about 1 program this evening and speak with 1 instructor, or you can speak with all 8 of them, and you have up to 90 minutes to manage your own time. So while I talk to you about how to move through breakout rooms, I'd like to ask my colleague Ismail to start moving our instructors into each of their breakout rooms. This way, by the time our potential students get in there, our instructors are ready to answer any questions that you may have about our programs. Bye-bye, instructors. While you're doing that, I'd like to draw everyone's attention to the bottom of their screen. Can everyone see an icon that looks like a chat bubble? It looks like a speech bubble, and it's labeled chat. That's the way you're going to let us know that you're interested in going into a certain room. So you can start using the chat function to type in the name of the first program that you'd like to learn more about. Then my colleagues Ismail and Jennifer will move people one by one into the desired breakout rooms. All you have to do is click accept to move into your room. You can talk to the instructor in the room for as long as you like. When you feel like you're ready to move on to your next room, you're going to see a blue button in the lower right-hand side of your screen, and it's going to say leave breakout room. Click on that. You'll be brought back to this room with Ismail and Jennifer, and you can either ask Ish and Jen any questions that you may have, or you can ask them by using the chat to move you into another room. And you can complete this as many times as you'd like.
All right, so all right, go ahead, Lisa.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Just one last slide. We recognize that you are taking your first step in making a really big decision tonight. And sometimes you think of questions or concerns that you have after exiting the session. So if you think of any questions after attending tonight's session, we have a number of different ways that we can still support you. So you can certainly call our 347 number, which is currently up on the screen. I recommend you write that down. You can send us an email at continuing_ed@csi.cuny.edu, or you can register for a lunchtime information session. These sessions, right now, we have about 90 participants in this call. Our lunchtime sessions have a dozen or less. And that's a dedicated hour speaking to one of our enrollment specialists. You can use that hour or set up another appointment to have an individual advisement session to learn all you want about one specific program, or to help you choose a program between a few that you're thinking of. So please don't feel like tonight is the last night that we're around to support you before our fall semester starts. So I'm going to ask Ismail now to move me into my CRPA breakout room, and I hope to see some of you there. Good luck to everyone this evening, and thank you for considering the College of Staten Island for your workforce training.